I'm Dave with Toy Store Guide, and today I'm welcomed by another fellow Toy Store hunter, a well-respected Toy Store hunter in the community, Garrett Sander. Garrett, what's going on today?
Not much. Happy to be here talking toys. Always a fun time.
Now you're well known all over the conventions, all over the internet, all over your your resume because you're the man who created Monster High dolls.
Yes, that's my little claim to fame is I came up with the concept for Monster High, and it was an absolute pleasure working on it. I had the beast time working on it. So
And I remember that from I remember having a niece, and whenever she did something exceptional, it was let's go to Toys R Us and get a Monster High doll. She's like 20 years old now, but I still have pictures. Maybe I'll put one up here
I'll
of
be awesome.
her at where did we out to eat somewhere playing with her Monster High doll. Sonic was playing
I
with her
love it.
Monster High doll.
I love it.
Um, but now you're doing something, you're doing another project, another of your own project. What's that?
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that the company I work for now, Just Play, they let me work on my own stuff too. So I have a crowd fund happening right now for my new concept that I call Gravestone Guardians, where it combines my obvious love of monsters with my love of like He-Man and She-Ra that I grew up on. So like these sci-fi barbarian warriors. So it combines the two of them together to become these sort of glamorous 80s warriors, monster warriors, called Gravestone Guardians. So they're defending the galactic space from the evil Queen Infestatia and her evil swarm army invading planets.
And it's a 5 point POA, which is as a 90s kid right up my alley.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um,
actually, I have her here. So here she
there it
is.
is.
Yeah. So here's our prototype model from the factory. So she's like pretty much ready to go. Should we hit our goal? So hoping that we hit that goal. But yeah, she's got the 5 points of articulation. So she's got a ball jointed head, so she can look left to right, up and down, and even tilt her head side to side. She's got the swing arms, the swing waist, and the swing hips. And then she also comes with her soft goods shoulder armor and her skirt. And then she's got rooted hair styled in the sort of signature heart style for her. She's got her tiara, which it has an inset crystal, and then her inset crystal heart gravestone is in there too. And she comes with a weapon as well called her Vamp Steel Blade that can store on her back. And when it comes out, it can split into two as well, so she can hold it in each of her hands. And she has her Gravestone Guardian stand too with the logo embossed into it.
And you mentioned She-Ra and like the He-Man type, the 80s type. So I'm guessing it looks to me like an homage to the classic toys. Like to me, it looks late 80s, early 90s style, like
Yes.
a Batman. That was completely on purpose.
Yeah, so was really inspired by She-Ra, He-Man and She-Ra grew up on. I wanted to fit right in with my vintage collection, but then also work with like all the new modern stuff for like Origins and all the new modern lines that are happening too. There's so many great lines like Legends of Dragonor from Formo, so they sort of fit in with that. There's a lot of great 5.5 inch stuff happening right now, so they sort of work in with all of that because they're at that right same height too.
That was my main question. Like at 5.5 inches, what height? Because for me, it's a lot of like Batman the animated series, things like that. And I'm like, well, she'd be a little big for that, but that might work with my imagination. And then my main question was, you see it not as a standalone, as something that could add on to other lines and vintage lines and modern lines. That's awesome.
Yeah, so sort of like this with all those stories, there are all these places they never went to. So I feel like their planet of Monsteria is just this planet that they never visited that we get to. I can tell the story of what's happening to Gravestone Guardians, but can always connect it back to these other places too. I think that'd be really fun.
That's what I think. And I like the I backed it on first of all, it's backed on BackerKit.
BackerKit, yeah, BackerKit does crowdfunds now too, so it's sort of a one-stop shop with they can do the crowdfund and then help with the all of the address stuff and things like that, and then fulfillment. So I went with them. I had friends highly recommend them. They thought that they were really great, so I figured I'd give it a try there for my first crowdfund.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna lie. I've never heard of BackerKit before now. I've heard of like the main sites, never heard of that. But I would have probably been reluctant if I didn't know it was you, if I didn't know where it was coming from, if I didn't believe in the legacy, I might have been reluctant, but we're here to tell everyone that BackerKit could be trusted.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. They do a lot of stuff with like Kickstarter campaigns, but they're usually the add-ons. So they help with collecting all the addresses, collecting like they're like the fulfillment for all the final stuff to get all the information from everyone. But they've decided to do their own uh crowdfunding now too. So
tell you what put me over the top when you launched scrolling through was the card art and the box. And
oh
that's
yeah,
just
so
you could see that's what I care about. I care about card art and bubbles. And when I saw the bubble, I said, "This is awesome. Let's. You want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, so the card is actually a coffin shape, and there's going to be an area with beautiful art. I was able to get Simon Eckert, who does amazing like Motu. Uh, what else has he done? He's done like Galaxy Warriors, or a lot of it's in Germany, but he does like these amazing card sets and stuff like that for his collector cards. He's done what is it? Golden Girl and the Guardians of the Gemstones. He's an art of them, and so he totally understands the aesthetic and the point of it all. So I was able to get him to do a drawing of Vampyphone for her package. That looks absolutely beautiful. So the card is a coffin shape with her art on the front, the Gravestone Guardians logo. There's a little area of like a crystal coffin that they sit in front of, and then the blister will actually be like a crystal coffin blister that holds them in place.
Yeah, that's what really put it over the edge for me. Do you want to go
Thank
into
you. I started off as a packaging designer too, so I'm having fun with that.
that?
So
So you said they're from their own planet, and you think that they could just be an ad on another part of that universe. Do you want to talk? Do you have that story built out? You want to talk about that story?
Oh yeah, so they come from the planet Monsteria, where it's sort of been like this peaceful planet up until Queen Infestation invades, but the all of the monster types have been sort of living separately for a long time, so they don't really interact with each other much. But once this invasion happens, it activates the crystal gravestones to help protect the planet, and it's different monsters, and they're going to have to learn to work together to help defend the world from the invasion of Queen Infestatia and her swarm army. And Queen Infestatia's they're all inspired by like insects. So Queen Infestatia is like a cockroach, and her powers that she with the when she touches someone, she can infect them and infest them, basically mind control them. So she creates this army by infecting all of the people of planets, and they sort of join her sort of mindless drone army. And then her generals are her children. So she has children leading her army. So there's Odora. She's like inspired by like a stink bug, but she's like the big muscle one. And then there's Mothric, who's like a moth with light powers. But then there's the Gravestone Guardian. So there's Vampyphone. She's the vampire warrior. Her vampire powers, she can has like extra long life, and she's super strong. But when she gets the crystal heart gravestone, it imbues the power to siphon other powers from people around her. So as long as they're in the vicinity, she can siphon their powers and use for herself. There's Boltessa, who should we hit 90K? Here she is. Here's a little
That's what I was
prototype
going to ask
here.
about next.
She's our Franken warrior, so she's all stitched together. She's yellow because she's got electricity running through her. So her normal Franken powers is she can detach her limbs and control them to do whatever she needs to. And then when she gets the crystal bolt gravestone, it gives her the power over lightning, so she can control lightning and use that. Then there's Rapture, who is our mummy. There's Ghostoff, who's our ghost. There's Rakandra, who's our gargoyle. And then we have Diamond, who she guards Castle Gravestone, which is where they have to go once they get their crystal gravestones. It's sort of the hub of where everything happens. It's hidden deep within the Forest of Fright, and she helps guard it there. And then there's Skulltanya. So she's our skeleton warrior. So she has unbreakable skeleton bones, and she does nothing more than to swing her giant mace around too. So I'm
First,
having a lot of fun. Hope you can tell.
yeah, no, that's wow. Breathe. This Frankenstein one
Yeah.
with the hair of a troll, though.
Yeah, so she's got like the troll hair, so it sort of like stands up, and we have we call it shimmer shine, at least in the doll world, like the hollow foil streaks in it, so it looks like there's electricity up in her hair. So it creates that nice, cool mohawk look, and she's got these cool, like the sculpted shaved area on the back of her head, and then she's got the really great uh, stitch detail of like where it looks like her hair is sewn onto her scalp, and then sort of where her lower jaw was sewn onto her face, and the stitches on her body where all the body parts were put together.
Not listed on my questions is because it just popped in. Why do we love monsters, especially anything with the Universal? I don't collect many Ghostbusters vintage, but the Universal Monster Ghostbusters I need to have for some reason. I don't collect, something, but whenever they do, especially Universal Monster throwback, why are we all like, why does that all just call to us?
I think we all just can identify with monsters sometimes. Like they can't hide who they are and stuff like that. So I think it's sort of like this great, metaphor for life. Like we go through life being who we are, and we can't really hide who we are, and that's what monsters have to be. And so they sort of become these avatars for us.
Again, yeah, I can't argue. You have a well-rounded out story. Are you the one part I like when you explained it is if let's say the Kickstarter goes now, and your wave one would be the vampire. Sorry if I don't remember her name yet. I
Oh,
don't have her.
Vampyphone. It's okay. Vampyphone.
I don't have it in my hand yet.
No worries.
Um, and then there will be the stretch goals, will be the a chrome version and a see-through version.
Yeah, so if we hit our goal of 45K, it will automatically unlock the first variant, which is the crystal edition of Siphony. So we'll do her all of her, she'll be molded in a translucent pink plastic with glitter infused, so she'll be super sparkly. She'll still get all her deco on it, but all the pink areas will be like translucent pink plastic with glitter inside, including her weapon and her stand. So she'll be the crystal edition. And then if we hit 50K, it unlocks the chrome edition of Siphony, where her body will be coated in the VUM coating. So everything will be super shiny. So the silver will be nice and shiny, the pink will be nice and shiny, and we're going to do the black and like a translucent. So you'll still see that chrome coming through. And again, her weapon and her stand will be done in chrome as well. And
And
then the next one is 90K to unlock the second figure, which is Voltessa.
which makes all the sense in the world with tooling and the and how the real world works in
Yeah,
toys.
and it was important to me. Like I looked at sharing bodies on all of them and just painting it on, but when I was doing that, where it was just losing a lot of the detail and like the oomph of the sculpt. So like we wouldn't be able to get beautiful things like she has actual stitching down her back, like to show where she was stitched together, stuff like that. It just doesn't look as when it's painted on. So I want each doll has like a unique body to them as well. So it's 100% new with all these details incorporated in.
Thanks for not going 90s Toy Biz on us. But then you said the story, and the story, if it, if you only have these one or two dolls to make it work, you can actually have the story that you came up with is the big bad could actually control every other figure you have and make it into the army. And then she can take their powers, take He-Man's powers, and then fight. You could. I mean, there's hours of play for someone who wants to play. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if the kids are playing enough nowadays. My niece and nephew are playing, but I
My
don't know.
nieces play. Yeah.
Um, uh, which brings me to my next thing. How are you? Oh, so on the Kickstarter, there's a couple other things. There's coloring, digital coloring books, things like that, and
Oh, yeah.
a background so you can immediately start dioramas and stuff. I saw that.
Yeah, I have a little. There's two things that are $5. So there's a digital coloring book that you can download, so that'll have pages to color of all the characters, and then there's a mini playset. So it's just a paper playset that you can print out and you cut everything out. So it's like the old paper doll type playsets, but you can cut out the little figures with a little castle gravestone, and then you can play out the stories. So it comes with the characters, including Queen Ephistacia. So you can play out some stories with that. So.
The story that you just painted is you have a way that you're going to try to get that out with some level of comic books, some sort of animation, whether it's like a it used to be flash animation back in the day, now it's something different.
Yeah, so I mean, if we as we go up, if we can hit, there's other hidden stretch goals. If I get there, I'd love to add on stuff. I am working on like writing the comic, so I'm hoping to get a comic done that can be separate from the BackerKit crowdfund too. So getting that story out there and getting it, told so everyone can see it. That's another goal of mine that I'm working on now too. So I've sort of done like the base story so everyone can understand what it is, while I'm still working on fleshing out the world completely and stuff like that.
And your goal, what is your goal the I'm gonna say a backer kit now and then hopefully going into toy stores or because we care about independent toy stores as well.
Yeah, I actually have a tier for small
I saw.
toy stores too. So yeah, they can get 20 of them at a lower reduced price. So that way they can still make money off of selling them in their stores too. Yeah, I'd love to get into independent toy stores and help fund to make more characters after that as well. And if needed, I'll do, if we successful with this one, hopefully I can do another one and add some more characters into it as well. Because, I'd love to see Queen Infestatia happen as well and all the rest of the Gravestone Guardians.
That's amazing. Well, so we'll take right now to if you want to shout out with Toy Store Guide, if you want to shout out what an independent toy store that you like to visit or the last one, anything comes to mind. People ask me what's the best toy store, what's your favorite? The favorite one's the one I was at last week, whatever it is. So do
Yeah.
you want to shed any one come to mind?
I've got a couple local ones that are good. For vintage toys, there's Kelly's Toy Store in Huntington Beach that I like to go to. For newer stuff, there's My D Pins that's near me. I've got my local comic book store, Amazing Comics, that I like to go to as well. And then, with the toy store guide, like when I'm traveling, I like to use you guys too to see what's nearby, so that way I can go check out stuff. So that's really fun too. And like I've always excited when there's one that pops up on your feed that I've been to. Like, hey, I've been to that one. So
I should such I mean one day we're so far behind, we're just posting stores, and our main goal is getting more stores. If I could do
yeah,
one thing today, let's add another store to the site. And then
yeah,
if I did that, then I could move on to other things. But yeah, a checklist to something that said, hey, this is how many I've been to. One day I want to sit and count to see how many I've been to, and it's not all of them. I wish that would be like the best goal, to retire and just go to toy stores all day.
yeah. I know one of my favorite toy stores I've been to. There's two. There's Big Fun in Columbus. That one was really cool. Because it's just like
Seriously.
wall to wall. There's just so much to look at. Like it's just so fun to stay in there. And then Eternia Dreams. Um, there it feels like you're going into like the old Toys R Us because the displays are so high, so you feel like a kid again. You're in the store again, shopping for all the toys. So I
Eternia
really like
Dreams
that one
took
too.
over. If anyone that doesn't know, and I talk about them a lot, they've almost taken over an entire mall at this point.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they're like, the best way to explain them is a Costco of toy stores, because I've never seen so many like mask boulder hills, or so many. They think they had 4 or 5 flags lined up when I was there last. And I said, this is just insane
yeah.
and worth the
It's
drive. For me, it's a
crazy.
4 or 5 hour drive, and it's worth every minute.
Yeah, I've only gotten
Um,
to go once, but it was a lot of fun there. So
Um, whatever shirt I wear, I'll shout them out. So this is TC's Rockets. It's in San Diego, not far from the Javits Center. If you're in there, if you're in town for the Comic Con, another store that you walk in and it just keeps going. The front of it is toys, and then it just keeps going. We have a game room in the back. It really, the first time I went in there was this is my favorite store for a long time, and
yeah.
then I have to try to put things in luggage to bring back home and stuff.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but that's it. If you have any parting words, I mean, obviously, everyone should go to BackerKit and back Gravestone Guardians. When does it end?
It ends on November 3rd. And if you want to follow along, Gravestone Guardians on Instagram at Gravestone Guardians. There's our website, gravestone-guardians.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Garrett, Garrett_Sander, Sander. That's on Instagram too. But for Gravestone Guardians on Instagram, I've been posting all the process stuff. So you can see all the original sketches for all the characters. You can see the process for sculpting everything. So you sort of can follow along on the whole process there too. It's been exciting to share all of that. And so I post new character stuff there, and as I'm working on things, share stuff. There's even like mood boards and stuff like that that I put together. So sort of get to see the whole process of making them come to life.
That's amazing. All right, everyone, head to it. There's a cat here now. You
And I appreciate all the support we've gotten so far. So we've already hit like $6,000, which is amazing. So thank you guys so much. And hopefully we can get to that 45K and make Vampyphone happen, and then unlock that first variant for the Crystal Edition too.
guys, it's Halloween season. While you're watching old Halloween episodes and you're thinking about Halloween and you're thinking about monsters, go to BackerKit and let's go and let's make this happen.
Yeah. There's one
Garrett,
more
take
parting
care.
shot of her. So really happy with how she turned out too. So thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
All right. Best of luck. Good luck.
Thank you.